When an administrator or therapist logs into DDtrac, they're taken to the home screen. The home screen has two major areas. The area where you have the students that you can work with. This can be a short list, which would be the caseload for an individual therapist, or it can be a long list if you were an administrator in charge of hundreds of students. All the students that you are allowed to look at their data are listed on the left-hand side of the screen. On the right-hand side of the screen, you have your groups or your courses. You can create as many groups or courses as you would like in DDtrac, so you can use DDtrac to aggregate data for individual groups of students, whether it be speech therapy groups or occupational therapy groups. It could be an entire class. It could be all the special education school students in a single school. So you'll have all your groups or courses on the right-hand side. When you select a student, for example, if you select Daniel Dew on the here, it'll take you to a screen that is the dashboard for Daniel Dew. On the left-hand side, you'll see all of the past comments that people have entered working with Daniel Dew. These are the most recent comments that people have entered. They can be very long or short comments that will include what the person worked on with the student, any behavior episodes. If you were the therapist entering the comment, you would actually be able to click this pencil icon and edit the comment for any day that you entered a comment for that student. Or you could actually delete the comment if for some reason the data you took was not valid. On the right-hand side, you'll see a group of charts that are automatically generated to give you an overview of Daniel Dew's performance. So you'll see his performance on his individual instructional objectives, the percent of trials at mastery. The low numbers would be things that you would need to work on, because they would be the things that the student is not doing well. You would also see a summary of behaviors, so behaviors that the student had in the last month. So it shows by week and what behaviors the individual student had. If you return to the home screen and you chose a student, let's say you're all your speech therapy student, you would be taken to a dashboard for all of the speech therapy students. The speech therapy student, when you take to the group of students dashboards, essentially you'll see a variety of summary charts for that group of students. For example, this is the behaviors by individual students. So you'll see all of the behaviors for the different students in this particular group. You could also on this dashboard show an attendance report, which would show the overall attendance for the group of students. So if you go and you go reports and you go to your attendance report, you could generate your report. This would show you all of the therapies that the group of students have received in the last month, where O is occupational therapy, S is speech therapy, so you can get a broad overview of the therapies that have been undertaken for the student. Also on your student dashboard, you could see the performance on targets for all of the individual students in the group. So you could see which of your students are doing well and mastering a great percentage of their targets during the last month, or you could also see the students are doing badly. So this would say I might want to click on Brandon Brock and see more detailed data for Brandon. See Brandon's dashboard. If you want to see more detailed data, you could actually go to our list of reports and charts and see a wide variety of reports. Some charts that you can generate includes the target performance comparison over time, the target progress percent over time, target mastery over time, so how rapidly the student is mastering targets for each individual objectives. You can see the percent of data at mastery by objective or by target. You can also chart behaviors and behaviors over time, so you can look at how behaviors are changing over time, what's triggering behaviors for your individual students. We have on the left-hand side, we have our different reports, so you can have the performance on objectives to see how Brandon is doing on all of the objectives on his IEP. So you get a broad summary of the performance of Brandon on his IEP. You can also go to Administer Site, and you can actually look at some review reports for the entire site. So for example, you can look at data for by instructional data by users. So you can look essentially what the number of students are, the objectives they're working on, the number of objectives they've worked on in the past month, the number of objectives they've mastered, the number of targets they have, the number of targets they've worked on, the number of unmastered targets, the number of mastered targets, and the number of targets mastered in the past month. So this gives you a broad overview of all the students that are currently enrolled in your program. They can be grouped by site, so you can see how different students are doing at different sites, whether people are actually working with the students at the different sites. So for example, we can see that the students at the Bridge Demo School have all been worked with in the last month and have mastered a number of targets in the last month. You can also look at the therapists that they were working with